Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. I hope that you are all doing well. Welcome to another Tag Tuesday. Today I am doing the 6 Tudor Queens book tag, and this tag was created by a few different people: Novel Reads, Danny's Book World, and the lovely Gemma from Gem of Books. And I believe that this was inspired by a Tudor read-along that they are all hosting for like a year-long thing. And I was tagged by Gemma in her tag, and this was her first original tag, so that's exciting. And I was also tagged by Fraser from Fraser Simon's Springboard Thought. So thank you to both of you for tagging me. I will leave links to everyone's channels in the description box below, along with their tag videos, so you can go check those out if you're interested. There are 7 prompts, one for each Tudor queen, along with Henry VIII. So let's get started. Prompt number 1, Katherine of Aragon, a book that was your first love. So this started me thinking that I don't really remember like the first book that I loved as a kid. I remember loving books, but I do remember loving my grade 4 teacher, and he used to read to us at lunchtime, and I remember so many of those books. One of them was The Hobbit, but the ones that made us laugh out loud was Skinnybones by Barabara Park. And this is like a duology about Alex, who is just trying to get along at school. And I remember he plays baseball, but doesn't really know how to play, doesn't know what he's doing, and things don't go well. And these books were just, you know, the first ones that I remember realizing that books could have humor, they could be funny, and just be a lot of fun. So it was a big hit with our class. Number 2, the second prompt is Annabellin, a book with a manipulative character. So the one that immediately comes to mind is a book that I just finished a few days ago, and that was The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. And I will be talking about this more in my monthly wrap-up, but this is a story about twin sisters who have secrets from their childhood. And, well, from the prompt, one of the characters is manipulative, but it might not be the character that you think. Next is Jane Seymour, a book that delivered what you wanted. So sometimes, you know, I will say that I read the right book at the right time, and I love when that happens. And it's just so great when a book fits your mood perfectly. And when I picked up this book, I wanted a lighter read with a summery vibe, but also with some substance. And when I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, it totally delivered exactly that. This is not a heavy read, but it does have some heavier topics. And the two main characters are very likable, and it has a rom-com vibe, which was exactly what I needed at the time that I read it, and it has made me want to read more Emily Henry books. Number 4 is Anne of Cleves, and this is a book that wasn't what you expected. So for this one, I originally had a book in mind that wasn't what I expected in a more negative way, but I think I am going to do the opposite, and a book that I didn't know what to expect, and I ended up really enjoying it. And this is a book that I read for the BookTube Prize in Translated Fiction, and that is How to Order the Universe by Maria Jose Ferrada. And this little gem of a book is translated from the Spanish by Elizabeth Breyer. So this would actually be a really good book to check out and pick up if you're interested for August's Women in Translation. So this was kind of the case of judging a book by its cover. I didn't expect much from this book, and I was so grateful that it was a short book. I thought, what is this all about? But I ended up really enjoying it. This is a coming-of-age story. It's also a story about a father and a daughter. It's just written with stark beauty, and when it was over, I was pleasantly surprised that this little book had so many good things going for it. The 5th prompt is Katherine Howard, a book that irritated you. Well, this might not be a surprise if you've been watching my channel for a little bit, because I have probably mentioned this book at least a few times at this point, and I'm going to go with Talking to Strangers, What We Should Know About the People We Don't Know, and that is by Malcolm Gladwell. And for some reason, I thought that this book was going to be about talking to strangers, but it's not really, at least not in the way I had hoped. And I found the examples used to be very extreme, so that really irritated me because I feel like the point of the book was lost somewhere, at least for me, like from the title to the content, and it felt more like Gladwell had something to say, but it wasn't about talking to strangers. And this was such a disappointing read for me that the other 3 to 4 Gladwell books that I had on my shelf at the time have gone to little free libraries. The sixth queen is Katherine Parr, a book published after the death of the author. And for Jane Austen July, I read Persuasion by Jane Austen, which was published about 6 months after Jane Austen's death. And then the final prompt, number 7, is Henry VIII, a chunky book that you hated. So, hate's a little strong, but I can think of like a couple that I didn't enjoy a whole lot, and I think I'm going to go with The Chestnut Man by Soren's Feastrop. This book was like 700 or 800 pages, and it turned out that that was way too long. It's a thriller about a serial killer who leaves these little chestnut men at actually all of the crime scenes. And I liked the premise of this, but I found the book could have used a lot more editing. And after a while, I kind of lost interest in the story. I did finish it, but then I did donate the book as well. So I know some people really liked this book, and it does have some good things going for it, but it just definitely wasn't one for me. So those are the prompts for this tag. I would like to tag a couple of people. I think I'm going to tag Book Talks with Mrs. Thomas, and I'm also going to tag a newer to me booktuber, Heather Gregg. If you were up to doing this tag, I would love to hear your answers, but there is no pressure as always. Thanks again to Gemma and Fraser for tagging me. This tag made me think a little bit. Please let me know what books have irritated you, or, were not what you were expecting them to be and then were either really good or not as good. I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.